anybody here, it's Dennis. Let them know 24 was here. I'm actually up on the roof doing some work, so I'm not near the radio.
All right, be careful up on that roof. Over. I've checked in from the roof before.
Early check-in for SWL 52.
All right, okay, I'm 52.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, let me get it officially started here. I'll get the video up. Oh, the video is up. That means we are started. Here we go.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Your old tube radio network, real radio's glowing in the dark. I never know what's going on here, but they're pointing at me. The red lights are on, so that means everything is hunky and dory. Let's go to the control room. Yeah, and we're back to, we've got the ribbon, the RCA 77DX ribbon microphone on tonight. It takes up half the studio. How's that? Better? Yeah, okay. It should look good and should make me sound good, but that's not the point. The point is that you sound good tonight on your tube radios, which is what we will be doing in just a little bit, distributing information about Class D 11-meter citizen radios, your tubes, testing, all that good stuff that we do. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers to set in the OTR air chair, and I'll be doing that tonight as we do the SWL check-ins and our check-ins from those of you watching at oldtuberadio.net or listening at oldtuberadio.net on the video. Whatever it is, we'll get you checked in. So thanks for joining us. Getting a couple of early shortwave listener check-ins. We've got a couple already. I've got 24. Who else needs an early check-in before we get going here? Over.
61. Dennis, get 650 for me.
All right, 61. We've got you, Dino, sounding good, and also 650. We'll get 650, Joe. Over.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Dennis.
Break.
The break, go ahead. Over.
Yeah, I'd like to check in number 9 and number 14. They're going to be at the races.
All right, there's races tonight. Well, that's a good thing. 9 and 14. So we'll get Sean and 14 and 9. I'm sorry, 14 is Sean and Dirt Dog is SWL 9. Got them checked in out of Sanger. Thanks. And it's been quiet. I didn't hear any skip at all. And K-Index, the bands have just been a little strange, but I really think that if you were listening to the Dish Banks sideband last night, Australia came in at 20 over for about 10 minutes at the top of the net. So I'll see what happens tonight. Maybe we'll get some of the Northwest Pacific check-ins coming in as well. Speaking of check-ins, let's see if 00 is out there tonight.
00 checking in.
All right, Wayne, I got to find my pen. I'll put an X in the square. This is the final 8 weeks of our 8-week roster. If you're playing the home game, you'll notice that all the X's are filling up. So thanks for helping us out getting started. And since you have perked attendance, you'll be in the running again next time. So we'll catch you on page 4. Thanks.
All right, thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
All right, and 21, I see you. Let me get you while you were active there. He's going to go back to ORN. Jed has a secret for the walkie-talkie key down that Saturday at the Low Country Mud Duck Break in Waterboro, South Carolina. All right, if we get back to you, maybe we'll find out more about Jed, the secret, and, of course, the walkie-talkie key down. I like that. That's how I started. I started with Hallicrafter's walkie-talkies in a very strange configuration that tried to sound like a Browning Eagle. So thanks, JT, and we'll catch you over on ORN in just a little bit. But thanks for jumping in. We have a check-in for SWL number 1, and we also are going to get a check-in for SWL number 2, who very well could be 9 pounds, good modulation. Also, I see 111 is for an early check-in. Robert, I've got you, and also SWL 31, Robert and Teresa. So let me get those right in out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and beautiful Reed Lady, SWL 111, where everything is always blooming. And the sun always shines. When it's miserable in Fresno, you can drive down Academy Avenue and get to Reedley or whatever it is that takes you there. Now, where are we going? Okay, I've got to make sure I keep my list up to date here. SWL number 3, a check-in for Rob, who is doing some updates on oldtuberadio.com. So check that out and see what's new. I've got to check that out myself. People asking about the microphone. All right, I went to the studios. We're there all day. It's Earth Day, so we had some Earth Day booth going on, but at the FM. So as I came back, I decided it would be time once again to grab the RCA. Let me bring it up into the shot, and then we'll pull it down. The RCA DX 77 microphonium. You can see this is a large. I'm hiding behind it. This is a very large microphone. It's got the switch on the back for your directivity and other things. I should have it in the bidirectional mode. I think if we turn it to the side, you kind of go away. Yeah, okay. But it's got nice front to back ratio, and we'll get it out of the frame and try not to break it so that I don't get in trouble. But it is a true. I don't know what the vintage is on this. If this is a 50s or a 60s, it's had. Okay, it's had a refurb. Now I've broken the mic stand here. It's just. There we go. I just don't want it to fall over. The ribbon microphones are very sensitive to vibration and shock and wind, so I'm trying to not break it. And hello, 1 2. Direct net roll call. Let's continue on. Where are we going? FWL number 5. Did Levon make it over from ORN? Are they about to reveal the secret? Now the secret's coming up on the walkie-talkie thing, so. Don't have to worry about the secret. Sherlock Ohms is listening to all the old, as we say in two-way radio, all the old Foxtrot Alpha Romeo Tango Sierras here on the band tonight, and there are many from which to choose, as we might say. Foxman 362 says the microphone is about the size of my head. It's about the size of my head, and it's smarter. I think it has more brains than I do. Let's go to SWL 7. I'd like to see if Mr. Ed is joining us tonight. We do have the proxy check-in for SWL 9, Dirt Dog, and 14, which we got Sean. SWL 10. Let's see if the Dolphins are jumping tonight. Not sure what is happening up in northern Idaho. Visitors. I've got a little thing that says visitors. So I do that. Yeah, who's visiting? We've got Fresno, Angola, New York, York, Pennsylvania, Calgary, Alberta. The Squamish boys are up and running. I didn't get much HF at all in this week, so I can't tell you what condenses are like. Marion, Illinois, Copenhagen. Hey, we'll be up to you in just a moment, so don't go away. Good morning to you up there. Anoka, Minnesota, Sapulpa, Oklahoma, and Fort Worth, Texas, amongst others. Those are the ones that are showing up on my screen at the moment. SWL 11. How about 11 and 12? Dan and Dapper Dan. I don't know if I'm feeling dapper. I might be looking dapper. I spent all day outside at the booth. A lot of great people stopping by. It's always nice to get in with the listeners. There is Dapper Dan, looking dapper, feeling dapper, not like a name, not just a number. Well, that's true. So let's click those numbers behind the names, 11 and 12. Let's go to SWL 13. The EchoLink link is up. Yeah, that's working, and the crossband radio is up and running as well. So I'll be listening for anybody. UDX 498. It sounds like this is clipping a little bit. I can stand back a little bit. That's like they did the old days, like you were reading a Jack Benny show. That's how you did. You had the script on the other side of the microphone, and if they were bidirectional, you had your talent on the other side. Who was I saying hello to? Somebody rolled off my screen already. Oh, it's Highlander. All right. UDX 498, Mid-Missouri, the Show Me State, saying hello, radio. Well, hello, radio right back. 14 was proxied. SWL 15. Hello to you guys out there. You're still on my list here. Let's see if we can. I got to be careful. This is stay on the beam here. 46 degrees in Copenhagen and light rain this morning at 8:11. Oh, 5:11. Okay. I was going to say it can't be that late in the morning. Well, hopefully there's raindrops falling on the antennas. Let's go to SWL 16. And Charlie, did you say you had a 77 in your shack somewhere or in the box or something? He's checking in. I see you there. Okay. How many people are using their RCA 44s or 77s right now? Oh, somebody was on the crossband. Let's see who that is. I think that is 13, but I'm having trouble hearing you. KB6 GFD. We'll get you checked in, Mikey. Over. All right, 73. KB6 GFD. SWL 13 on the crossband checking in. Well, we're on that row. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, Hans. SWL 17. The EchoLink is alive. SWL 18. I will get Mikey checked in from Facebook. My paper's not cooperating here. All right, now we got it. Now everybody's checked in. Let's go to SWL 19. Sorry about that. Chet. I was trying to get all the paperwork down here. This microphone is it's in the middle of everything. Where I would normally put my paperwork, there's now a very large, microphonium, so I'm trying not to break things. Speaking of breaking things, the Jumping Dolphins are here to save the day and make sure that the Old Tube Radio Network is on its way, beaconing everywhere. Hello, Chrissy. I will get you and Dwayne checked in. Thanks for joining us. And I don't know, tell Dwayne to stand by the Robin or the Browning, because I really think we are going to have some skip show tonight. Also alive. Let me get it while you're in there, Richard, before it scrolls away. SWL 78. Wild Wildemar, where I bet it's 78 degrees. Or something like it. A lot of noise. Well, is it good noise? And if it's noise, move that VFO off of 7200. You know how it gets on the weekend on that frequency. Let's go to SWL 20. I think Harvey... Did Harvey say to get a check-in for him? I think so. He may be listening in. He might be one of those unknown SWLs. Getting advertisements on my page. I don't like that. 68 degrees. All right. Kind of like that. I'll get Harvey checked in and we'll see what's happening. Speaking of checking in, let me find Old Radio Night. They are there. Let me bring the audio up on Old Radio Night. And they're listening in. Harvey. Yeah, they're listening in. So I got you guys up on the page now. The video is up, so go ahead. I'll be listening. Go ahead over at Old Radio Night. Over. Here they come. All right, here they come. Old Radio Night live. This is a link, coast to coast.
I'll get Harvey checked.
You can hear the replay on me. I'm trying to be quiet so they can talk. Here they go. Live, coast to coast. OTR to ORN.
They are there. Let me bring the audio up. They're listening in. Yeah, they're listening in. So I got you guys up on the page radio. Go ahead over the radio.
SWL 21 checking in from the Wasama Swamp. There, go ahead, Jed, on the secret weapon.
Jed 183, Charleston, South Carolina, checking in on this here walkie-talkie.
I like that walkie-talkie. Sounding good. And we'll have more info on those walkie-talkies coming up.
Thank you there, Dennis.
All right, thanks, guys, and good luck on the walkie-talkie secret out there in the old radio night. You guys are checked in. Back to OTR. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Crank down the audio. Yeah, you can have one screen on old radio night and the other screen on the old tube radio network, as we are simultaneously and at the same time up and running with the various things that we do. What is JT's tonight? He's on the late show edition, the vintage Sears 23-channel tube type CB radio. So we'll see what we can check in tonight. Maybe we'll get some Sears radios or something like it. So back to the control room here. Let me get the proper setup. That one's not good. That's even better. Let's go to the control room. There it is. You will see your check-in number above my head as we do this. S meter. What are we looking at? Oh, I think we're looking at SWR. Let's look at something more interesting. What is that? All right, that's the ALC on the AM. That's not bad. The other meter is the REA, which is the modulation output of the transmitter. And then the Orban meter, which is all the audio coming through, mine and the receivers, just to make sure that they're up and good. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to SWL 22. SWL 23. Wonder if Skidoo has skedaddled. Who else is joining us? One Space Ghost. Looking good. And Bryce, it says his Kenwood 820S has tubes. Yeah, you know, the 820 is a great radio. That's got two, is it 6146s? It's like the FT102 that had three 6146s. I think they had an 830. Art Bell, when I first talked to Art Bell back in the mid-'80s, before he was on Coast to Coast, that's what he was running. He was running a Kenwood TS830 with the loudest, biggest, noisiest amplifier there ever was. At 24, I got checked in early. Let's go out to SWL 25.
SWL 25 checking in, Dennis, and good evening to all.
Good evening to all, and to all a good night. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network, and you are checked in, sounding good. I will also get 74 as well. Over.
Roger. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you for what you've been doing for, almost 40 years. So back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, I talked to Rob. We were trying to compile a list of all the net controllers over the past 40 years, and your name came up. I'm going to make sure it's in there because I know you did a net control, and we actually did the net at the ranch, at the estate out there a couple of times. So you should be, or you are on our coveted net control air chair list. So thanks for that, and thanks for checking in.
All right, so we're kind of on the wall of honor. That's great. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, indeed. We are a directed net roll call, going through the SWLs. Do you have to be on a piece of paper to stop by and check in? No. That's how we started. Jerry talking about 40 years ago. This list is kind of a carryover from that. So can you imagine if we added everybody that stopped by on a list, we would be on here for 10 hours doing check-ins. So glad if you can stop by wherever you're at and participate, whether you're on 27085 Direct or the Universal Media Netweb. Again, there's no secret handshake, no funny hat you have to wear. You don't have to be on a piece of paper to jump in and join us here on your Old Tube Radio Network. Roaming base 73, AK6Q. Have I talked to you? That your call sounds very familiar. I'll have to look it up. And we might have chatted on 40 meters. I don't know. Let's continue. Let's go to SWL 27.
checking in live from Studio G on the FM crossband.
All right, let me grab the microphone. I knew when the weather got warm enough that you would jump out into Studio G. You are sounding good, over.
Roger, yep. I'll be here until, well, maybe until it gets to be 110 out here.
And then we'll check you in with the fan. Anyway, Dwayne, you were sounding good. Dwayne, you also occasionally sit in the air chair on the Wednesday night 10-meter net. Is that correct?
Roger, 10 meters, carp, and FARC.
Oh, man. How come you were never in the air chair here at OTR? We will have to remedy that. But the 10-meter net to which we are referring is on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on 28.445, over?
Roger that, 28.445.
And then there's a CW check-in as well on 28.170, I think. But anyway, Dwayne is there, and there's a spot for visitors to check in. And we're going to have some of the summer DX skip at about that time. So if you tune it in from afar, you just might hear us. Thanks for checking in.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis. KI6QEL.
KB6GFD.
KI6QEL. WKK. Hey, you want to go? 57, sure.
Okay, and they're talking on the other one. That is the crossband. Thank you, Dwayne, for that. Let's go to SWL 28. I got to turn the page here. I was so busy today. I didn't grab much of anything but a Cliff Bar and a lot of water. So I am interested to see what's on the culinary fare out in the green room tonight. And Gary should have that for us. Direct net roll call. SWL 29, we've got a check-in for Mr. Loner. SWL 30, listening and waiting for that skip to come in. SWL 31, Robert and Teresa also checked in from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Looking to see if we have anybody from Tennessee on the list to check the weather. No. All right, let's go to SWL 32. And that is Rob. I see you there. It was a busy day today, and I quickly scrolled through the pictures. I didn't have a time to answer, but I saw some really cool. The meter. There was something else. I'm forgetting. I'm going to bring up the email again. You got some really good stuff. So being in the right place at the right time sometimes pays off, and it sounds like it did. I know. I wish this was a permanent fixture of OTR. It's sort of a permanent fixture in our studio, and it's more there for looks than anything else because I don't know. It doesn't play as well as the Neumann, but here, with the seersucker suit, it does seem to belong here. So maybe I can work out a deal. Anyway. I will peruse the goodies that you brought. And there was a, as JT calls it, a reverse preamp. And I think you said it was the 4-band version, which with the band control, which is actually the nice one to have. So if the, 6JS6Cs, if the sweep tubes haven't been battered to death, that should be a good thing. You'll be able to check it out. And you won't need a heck of a lot of wattage to make it work. Nice stuff. SWL 33 is myself and anybody who's running around the control area here at OTR. Making sure I put all the X's in the square. Richard Green, CS, good night, everyone. It's almost 4:30 a.m. Wow. So where are you, 4:30? Where are you calling in from? It's early. You're way over there. Anyway, well, thanks for joining us up early or up late. And as you know, you can always tune in, turn on the replay at a Universal Media NetWeb output near you. In the UK, all right. We missed some of our UK. We had some regular listeners coming in. And as you know, for the West Coast is where we are. Holler into the UK on that two-way radio is a bit tough, so always good to see when you guys are coming in. Let's go to SWL 34. Get a check-in for Jimmy, Captain Chaos, Railroader, all the gang over there. SWL 35 from Cheyenne, Wyoming. I didn't have a chance to even go through any of the Facebook check-ins and see what Tracy and the gang cooked up on the AI, so I'm going to look forward to that. But if you're watching or listening, Mr. Bill, got you checked in, and yeah, they're looking good out there with Red Mikey Communications and the new digs and the new mobile shack. SWL 36 is checking in. I see you, Ken. I will put the X for the UDX 111. Thanks for joining us. The Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 37. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Dennis. And I was wanting to jump in, but I figured I'd wait. I remember when you were talking to Jerry there. Actually, you guys held one of the Friday night deal, Saturday night OTR. You did one out there. And who was the other gentleman? I cannot remember his name. That passed away. That had all the radios out there. Who was that? That always went out there.
We did. I think we did a couple of items out at the estate, out of the ranch out there in the Madera Heights. You might be thinking of Dr. J. You might be thinking of Fred Desert Rat. Over.
No, there was somebody else that lived out there in Madera, out there close to Jerry there.
You might be thinking of Everett, SWL 8.
Yes, Everett. That's who I was thinking of. I always missed him. He was a really super nice guy. And so are you, Jerry, if you're still out there.
Yeah, we had a lot of, I mean, when you're on the air for 40 years, a lot of people pass through the proverbial tube airwaves and leave their marks. Some of those stations aforementioned, 20, 30 radios on the shelf at one time and some great stuff. The days before eBay, when you actually had to go out and find these things. So good stuff. Got you checked in, sir. You are sounding good.
Thank you very much, and you're sounding good as always.
All right. I always try to make sure I talk to people that have a good receiver so I can get those good reports. Thanks, and back to movie time if it's happening.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Dennis. Talk to you later.
All right, Red Fox 1, 76th, let me get you checked in so that if you go under a bridge out there in Johnson, Rhode Island, he's checking in from his car, listening in. So you know how it is. You go under a bridge, and do we fade out? Is that how that works? I don't know. Probably not, unless you've got a really big 102-inch whip. We don't know. So before we fade out, let me put the 76 up in the window and looking good up at the X and the square. Good to see you back. Let's see, we had 37. Let's go to SWL 38, Sammy out there in Byron. It takes a long time for our signal to bounce up out of Modesto or wherever it goes before it shows up in his antenna area. HydroStream 390 in the chat. Wagon Master. Isn't he over at ORN? I thought he was like the sidekick over there. SWL 39. And Richard saying, I normally they'll pour it in a nice little glass. I think this is off the Costco card. The water's nice, but boy, I didn't drink enough water out at the outside the booth today, so you'll be seeing that a lot. And they won't let me do anything while we're on the air. I can't do anything a little bit heavier duty than water, but that's okay. And it's a little too warm for the heated Ovaltine. Maybe the Ovaltine on ice. Sam, I see you. Not going to happen. Well, you know what? We don't even have the mini grass or Australia to give you the DX check-in. But you're sounding good, so we got you in anyway. Is it live or Memorex? SWL 40.
Okay. Well, let's see. Hello. Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound... Oh, okay, I see the problem here.
This is the I see the problem frequency.
SWL 40, checking in. There we go.
You're checking in and sounding good. Now, if somebody wants you to spill the beans on your radio, there was a couple of comments saying, what radio do you run and what microphonium are you using? Because they like the sound coming through on the Universal Media Net Web replay. So are you allowed to tell us the radio on which you are speaking now and the microphonium attached over?
Well, you know what they say. I'd tell you, but I'd have to kill you. No, just kidding. Now I'm running a Chinwood TS 850 into a Turner Expander 500 microphone, but which I've modified. I've heavily modified this microphone with changes to the circuitry and things like that. But the element is the same. It's the stock element on the mic. Just some extra changes to the amplification down in the guts there.
All right, TS-850 on the AM doesn't have, there was a digital adapter for that, and that's, I don't think you have that. It was a 100 model. And then the microphonium, which is kind of rare. I'm not used to that one. Okay, sounds good. Someone had mentioned that they like the sound, so you're doing it right. Thanks.
Oh yes, it was a learning process getting the right kind of sound out of it. All right, we're listening.
All right, I don't have the.
Sounds like it's working over here.
Yeah, it's working. I don't have the display up to see if you're 6K or 7K. Sometimes the 850 can do some wacky stuff on AM. Thanks for that. Make sure you got checked in. Also, coming up now, I should say, SWL 41, Road Dog 507, of course, representing the Orange County React, Hudson Valley, New York, saying good evening to all. There's the official check-in. Let's see, around the corner and down the street, SWL 42.
Hello, Dennis, and the Radio Wiper. Oh, man, I was having a really bad one with a cough. 42 and the Radio Lifer crew is all here, I think.
Sounds like it's there. We did a sort of a pre-test on the radio sounding good. I'd be anxious to get that on and let people know what you can do with pieces and parts on a microphone and a radio that doesn't look like much, but always sounded like a lot. So good deal. We got you checked in.
Yes, sir. Well, you can bet around here we'll take something out of nothing and make it do what it shouldn't do, but appreciate it.
All right, sounding good. Thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 43, somebody asked to get a proxy in for 43. SWL 44. And Richard says there's still an Orange County React. I grew up, I mean, when I was in high school in the 70s, the early 70s, there was a West Coast React in the South Bay area. It's like Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, Gardena, Lawndale, and they ran a satellite, a Demco super satellite. And man, you could hear them on Channel 9, on Channel 10, on Channel 8, but they were on all the time as a family. It was a whole family, and they would be on. They would take shifts. They were on 24 hours a day. It was the most amazing thing for a React back then. But yeah, did some good service. Let's go to SWL 45, and I'll say hello to Paul and Kelly, who are probably listening in somewhere. We miss you guys on the air, but you get a chance, we will be listening here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Oh. SWL 44. Okay, you know, if you jump up and down hard enough, what happens is the ride starts to get bumpy, and I have to look in the rearview mirror to see who's causing all that trouble. So Thanks for keeping us from going off the road, but at least getting my attention, 44. Sometimes if I'm listening or if I'm there on time, I'll hear you beaconing through on sidebands on the Ditch Banks sideband net, but I was late last night, so I missed that. Let's continue on Direct Net Roll because we want to check in some radios tonight. It's been quiet. It's very busy. April's a busy month here in Fresno. We have a big item going on at the university, Vintage Days. The rodeo's coming up next week. Big Hat Days was last week. There's a big Earth Day gathering celebration at the community college, which is where we were today with the radio station. So a lot of things going on. So I'm hoping there will be some people out and about trying to get on the radios. Let's go to SWL 46. SWL 47.
Well, good evening to all from the Radio Lounge. This is SWL 47. Wondering why, with all those fun activities going on, why not hang out in your Radio Shack? I mean, what you can't get better than old tube radio.
Well, you would think on a Saturday night there are plenty of things to do, and if you can grab a minute or two to jump in on the Old Tube Radio Network, we always appreciate it. So thanks, and we've got an X in the square over.
Thank you, sir.
Directing that roll call. We're on what page is this? Page 2, I think. We got EchoLink. We got a lot of EchoLinks. We got EchoLinks. If you're listening on or hanging on the EchoLink, we will grab you here probably in a couple of minutes. Let's go to SWL 48. Listening for Sam, but I'll get him checked in. Sometimes we don't have the conditions we need. SWL 49. SWL 50.
Roxy for 49 there, Dennis.
Yeah, okay. Smitty at Sweet Country Mama, not a problem. We will do that. Listening for Battle Creek. Hello, 50. Oh, right there. Thanks, Gerald. SWL 50 in the rocking in the house and home from work early or finally, right? Long night. All right. Made the drive and back in the air chair. And all the bad weather. I don't know what kind of weather you guys are getting out that way, but it's beautiful here. It was 80-something degrees. We're going to get some rain, but I wouldn't call it bad. It's good stuff. Thanks for jumping in and continue on with the evening festivities. Thanks for including OTR in as one of those. SWL 51. Hello, Dave.
SWL 51 checking in.
51 checking in, sounding good here at the Old Tube Radio Network at Mud Duck Control. Thanks for jumping in. Next, we have, SWL 52. Aaron got an early check-in right at the top of the net. So he's got the X in the square, and I can't remember if we got Mr. Belair, but hello, Bob, if you're there.
Yeah, hey, sounding good there, Dennis. 53 checking in, and I want to say thank you to my fan club there, 10-4.
All right, they're sending you letters. I know you sign and read every one. So thanks for that, and thanks for stopping by.
10-4. Bye-bye, 73.
Sometimes he even puts in a little legend SWL 53 refrigerator magnet. It's amazing. All right, let's go to page 3 in SWL 54. That's what we need. That's what we need here at the Old Tube Radio Network. We need like some type of a little tube-looking refrigerator magnet. You can just pop up on the cold spot on the Norge and say, it's Saturday night. We got to go check in the radios. Let's go to SWL 55. All right, we'll be putting good thoughts out towards the witch doctor. Thank you, Dave. Wonder why I haven't heard him for a while. You've been checking him for 40 years. Let's go to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
Just for kicks, doing a good thing. The X is in the right spot. Thanks for joining us tonight. Over. SWL 57. I'm getting the speed up sign. They say, you're going slow. You're going slow tonight. SWL 58. Oh, 57. That's Brown Dog Audio. Sometimes if you're checking in on the Universal Media Netweb, it takes a little longer to get all that stuff to scroll through. So I will, if I see you, I will jump back. SWL 58. And Peter, hello, 428 and the Squamish Boys checking in from always beautiful British Columbia and parts therein. I always check to see if that Squamish Kiwi comes back. I don't know who had that. Because it's not an institutional thing. It's just somebody, putting their stuff up on the internet. So maybe something crashed. But, man, whatever it was, that was the best thing for you guys. And I think it was vertically polarized. Anyway, sounding good. And I know when our conditions change, and they will during the summer when we get the nighttime temperatures up in the 80s, we're going to get some nice E-skip, nice ducting coming down your way. So you guys, we'll be hearing you guys, no problem. Let's go to SWL 59. Uncle Hairball. Oh, he's right there. I'm looking too far down the list. You tell him 21. See, that's what JT. He'll come over here from ORN and he'll say, "Okay, who is slumming? Who didn't check in to the old radio night first before they came over here to the West Coast?" So, putting a paper bag over your microphone is not going to, you cannot hide from 21 out there in the Wasama swamps. He will find you. or he'll watch the replay of the old Tube Radio Network and you'll be in big trouble. Let's go to SWL 60.
Hello, Dennis. Hello, everyone out there on the band. SWL 60, checking in the 2527, old Jake's base.
Still working good. Not a problem with it. Jake is saying, yeah, I knew it would work. These things like, what do you mean? It's always going to key up and key down. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dennis.
You know when you hear that sound, that it is a check-in time. SWL 61, Dino checked in at the top of the net. Let's go to SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. JT says he can smell a D104 from 3,000 miles away. You're in big trouble, I'm telling you. SWL 64. Or what it was called layaway. Remember layaway? Does your mom's ever buy you some school clothes at Sears on layaway? So that's how you have to check in. If you're checking in to the old Tube Radio Network first, say, net control, can you put my check-in on layaway? Because I'm going to go to ORN and check in there first. Let him take, and then come back and do the check-in. So we do that. We can do check-ins on layaway if you need to go to Old Radio Night first. Let's go to SWL. I don't see Craig. SWL 65. Shortwave listener 66. SWL 67, what's going on in Canby? I don't see you on the list. Sometimes you'll jump in, and I'll keep an eye out. And I'll look if I've missed somebody. I check the scroll back, so even if I don't get you, but I see you, you'll be X'd in on the big piece of paper. There, I can smell those. I can smell the tater tots frying on the Robin T123, the B. It gets hot enough. Just make sure you wrap them in that heavy duty, not the light stuff, but the extra heavy duty aluminum foil. And what about, Chris, you just reminded me about, and I have the recipe, and I haven't made it in a while, the tater tot with the ham thing. I don't know. How long ago was that? I've got a picture of that somewhere that I cooked up in the little Pyrex dish. I will have to do that again. That was really good. For a guy for a guy that has to eat his own cooking, that was actually pretty good. So thanks for that recipe from long ago. Let's go to SWL 68. SWL 69, Kenny stopped by. He was on the other chat during the live replay and said, say hello to all the people. We might even be able to hear a Kenny radio tonight later on, so stay tuned for that. SWL 70. I'll get Mark checked in. He was on, I think it was the Wednesday net and the Friday net. Might have something going on tonight. There's a lot of stuff. Maybe he's out at Vintage Days or something. Puts in a good signal down here into the valley. Let's go to SWL 71, Stan. Out in Dallas, Georgia. Maybe jumping in at some point. SWL 72. Radio Boy caught me on the test frequency. I'll get 72 checked in. SWL 73. Also get a check-in for John. SWL 74 has a proxy. SWL 75. And there's 60. It's that darn slow internet, isn't it? It's that darn slow internet. You were on time, so we'll put the X in the square right there. 67. Right there. Okay. Good old Canby, Oregon. I don't know. We get the right conditions. We'll be hearing you wafting into the Central Valley. All right. Let's go to SWL 76. Oh, we already got 76. Oh, okay. How did I check it in there? But he's mobile, as we say on the two-way, listening in on the phone, but hands-free, of course. I'm trying to speak loudly, close to the microphone, so you don't have to turn the volume up. Next, SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and boy, everybody's sounding good in this old Johnson speaker, and boy, all your blinkies look really cool. 77, checking in.
Indeed. You know, when I'm running AM, let's go to the controller, the full controller. When I'm running AM, I get to run extra compression and extra limiting. And tonight, I'm using the bottom microphone preamp to run the RCA 77DX. So I got a couple of more blinky lights. I got a couple of more blinky lights on that. But blinky lights do not a radio station make. We will find out exactly what makes the radio station coming up in moments tonight when the tube radios start checking in. Thanks for stopping by. Coming up, SWL 78, Wild Wildemar. Ricardo is listening in, checking in. And Jukebox saying hello, radio. Hope everyone's having a good night. Hello to Dennis, and good luck with the check-ins. Yeah, so far so good. Nothing has flamed up in the background. And hope we're sounding good in southern Illinois tonight. Let's go to SWL 79. ADX 3030, hello radio. Somebody said get Philip checked in. Normally I hear him before the net doing something. It is nighttime. The sun is down, although, what is it, 8:50? I don't know. We're not in that weird time zone that they have in Idaho where it should be an hour earlier, but, the days are still getting longer. No skip. That's what I can't tell what time it is anymore because there's no skip. SWL 80. That means I get to turn the page. SWL 81. Shortwave listener 82.
82 checking in from the ditch banks of Biola. Good evening, everybody.
Indeed. Okay. You're sounding good, sir. I hear that there rumors that there is racing or something going on tonight, but you are not there.
I'm cheating. I'm watching it on TV. I got a special subscription there, and I can watch it from Tulare and other parts of the United States.
All right. Well, so you're kidding. Well, you're not. Of course, you're not kidding. Local stuff here. I'll say local within the Central Valley can be on the teletype vision.
Yes, sirree. It's called Flow Sports, and they have all kinds of sports, and they have racing, and there was I think there might have been 2 races from the valley here, from Tulare to, I believe, Stockton, and then there was some back in the Midwest, so got to watch, had 3 screens on and 3 different races.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I did not know that. I guess I'm not a big racing fan, even though I think when I was 6 years old, I was taken to Ascot Park. Anybody from Southern California in there, Gardena, the Ascot Park with the dragster, the jet dragsters with the big, parachute in the back and the motorcycles. I remember that. And as a little 6 or 7 year old, all the adults would stand up, as the dragsters at the end. I would see nothing. The whole time it was, you see the lights counting down, the dragster, whatever was racing. I mean, that's different kind of races, but they had a circular track. And then everyone would stand up and I saw nothing. That is basically what I remember about racing. So that's good. And you know what we're going to have to do? You know what we're going to have to do, Ron, is when Sean is out there, he's going to have a banner that says the Old Tube Radio Network on a Saturday night. You can hold it up so we can see it.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for the Dirt Dog because he likes to get out there and run around in front of the camera and down closer to the wall there. And then they tell the kids, all right, kids, go back up and sit down. So just kind of looking for them.
Indeed. All right. Well, thanks for chatting with me. They're giving me the speed up sign, but I want to mention that the voice you're hearing is the net control for the Ditch Banks sideband net. Good net last night. You were hearing people I couldn't hear, and then Australia came in Friday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here in the Central Valley on the West Coast, 36 lower. There is a spot for visitors to check in, and there were a couple last night from way out of town. So do not be afeard of jumping in and listening on 36 lower, no matter where you are at. Thanks for that.
All right. Have a good one.
The Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio is going in the dark. We are on Channel 11, 27085. We are live right now on Saturday, April 18th. And our purpose is to kind of drive this net into Tube Radio land. We've got some of our radio collectors who are revving up the engines. They're going to drive out and show us the fins in chrome of real radio from about 1958 to 1978 in the Class D Citizen Radio service. That will be coming up shortly, so do not go away. We've also got some EchoLink check-ins. That's coming up as well. Let's go to SWL 83 JZ. I did not check. Let me check my next radio images. Sometimes images will come in as I'm sitting here. It doesn't look like anything new is showing up. But yeah, if you have pictures of your rigs or what you're doing or something you're actually checking in here, easy to go to oldtuberadio.net, look for the glowing or non-glowing 6L6 tube on the left side of the page, and you'll see upload your pics. And you can do it very easily, and then we'll have a spot here to share those or put them on while you are on the air with that particular radio. Amazing how that works. Continuing on with the roll call. From Denton, Texas, Ben Hur is riding the Chariot. There he goes, riding the Chariot through the green room. And doing a good job of not tipping over the tables. We have the infamous SWL 84, SWL 86, SWL 87, and shortwave listener 88. Of course, that is Cheerios Kid, the Mountain Maid, Snowy Owl, and Tandy Girl. Maybe not in that necessarily in that order. All checking in. Let's go to SWL 89, SWL 90, shortwave listener 91. I just wondered, I miss Felix tonight. Was he over on Old Radio Night? Sometimes people come in early because I get the the net started up. So I'll get him proxied in. But if anybody saw Felix on ORN tonight. Let me know and get him checked in. SWL 92. All of a sudden, things got a little noisy on the receiver. I wonder if we're going to get some skipland coming through. SWL 93.
SWL 93, STD checking in, Dennis.
Sounding good, sir. Let's see, did Clovis get the day off today? Is it next week is the rodeo?
I believe so.
Okay, you know what I said? They're all out at Fresno State at Vintage Day, so breathe easy. You're sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Hope everybody has a good rest of the night.
That is in our plans here, so we're hoping to do that. Let me get to the live update. We are continuing with SWL 95. SWL 96. Well, look at see. Sometimes Kurt will be on the EchoLink. I don't see him over there, but we got a lot of people. SWL 97. See if Jim's coming in from Boston. SWL 98. I will get Tracy checked in. Central Valley Sea Beers on Facebook. I will have to jump in there and see what's up. I missed it today because I was busy. Hey, Arlen, I see you. SWL 46. Jumping in the side door. Head over to the green room. I think somebody made up a plate for you. Find you over on page 2. Coming up on 99. Yeah, Richard, Clovis is a rodeo town. I can't imagine. I mean, and the rodeo is on like your place, $1 million property, but it's a big deal. Clovis rodeo is a big deal, so they'll never sell out for that. All right, over to the other workbench. Over to the other workbench at OTR, and we're going to start the EchoLink link. Let's check in with Tony and see what's happening with all those tube radios. KD4BAO, KD6GFD over. Tony, SWL 100 from Cullenville, South Carolina, jumping in on EchoLink
hey, Dennis,
right here.
Please check me in. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. And nice to hear you. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
And it's nice to be heard. Always good audio. Thanks for initializing tubes on the air. And we will look for you next week. Over. KD6GFD. You've got to be careful to stay on this microphone. All right, let's continue on. We'll just go in order here on the EchoLink link. Looking now for Greg, KB5JKO. Gregory, can you copy? KB6GFD listening, over. And I'm not sure where Gregory is.
Copy, KB5JKO.
Yeah.
You copy me?
Yeah, you're sounding good. What part of Five Land are you in? Over.
Fort Worth, Texas.
All right, looking good from Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks for saying hello, radio, up here on the old Tube Radio Network. Our Tube radios are about to jump in here, but always good to have a chat on the EchoLink link, and maybe we'll be able to catch you guys on some of the ham frequencies coming up. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, Greg from Texas. Let's go to Albert, see what's happening up in Nevada. KI6CBA, KB6GFD, over. And Albert is up in the Reno Sparks area.
KI6CBA, calling KB6GFD. Hello, shortwave listeners and CBers out there. I've finally got the sound down now. I hope I never miss a transmission. How does it sound right now?
Sounds good. The audio coming in sounds great. You can even give yourself a radio check if you watch the Tube Radio Net OTR replay. But you're sounding good. Go ahead. Over.
Yeah, over. Hey, I noticed you have a new microphone there with some letters on it, and but I can't see the letter. Oh, it says OTR. Yeah, did you say something about that new microphone earlier in the program? I missed the first couple of minutes.
Yes, I did. Borrowed from the FM radio station where I work. It's a classic RCA 77DX or DX77. You can search for that. It will give you all the history of this microphone that's been around for 60, 70 years. It's a ribbon microphone. It's a classic microphone used on the classic radio before television. And we're testing it out. We're not testing it out, but we're using it here tonight for the old Tube Radio Network. Apropos, as they say, for those Tube radios. Anyway, you're sounding good, sir. Thanks for jumping in tonight, and have a great weekend. Over.
AI 68, over, and 73.
All right, we got one more. Tyler is in, and Tyler, I should have checked you in as 22, and I the Alpha Kilo, 295 wasn't clicking in that you were listening in, but no conditions tonight. But here on EchoLink, take a transmission, KL5PW from KB6GFD. Tyler is SWL22, and we've talked to him direct before.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry I haven't been around much lately. Conditions haven't been that good up here, but we try to get in there and talk to you all when we can. Fire up the old Palomar Skipper 71s and make a little noise every now and then. Put the big beam to work. And thanks for letting me check in tonight. And hopefully conditions will change a little bit, and I'll have more time check in with you guys next time around. KL5 Tango with you.
All right, hoping to get some conditions. I think we will. And you have one of the stations that can break through and do it all. And just a quick one. You're in, is it in Anchorage? Over? I believe
Oops, missed the key. Sorry. Yeah, right smack dab in the middle of Anchorage. Can't get any more in the middle of Anchorage than where I'm at there, Dennis. Roger, copy that?
Copy, no problem. So hopefully summer will be coming soon. And I don't know if that's 50 degrees or 70 degrees, but it should be happening. 73 to you. Thanks for joining us, and we've got you checked in.
Roger, thank you. 73s. Yeah. KL5 Tango with you.
KB6GFD. Back to net. All right, back to the net. Roll call 22 is in, 100 is in, and let's go to the patient guy, SWL 102. He's got the finger on the button. So as soon as he hits that space bar, we're on. Scranton, Arkansas, checking in at 48 degrees, clear skies, and saying hello radio to all the SWLs. Thanks. Thanks for joining us, John, all the way from Arkansas tonight. Let's go to SWL 103. And Joy is right there checking in. She says, hope I'm doing good. I am. It was a good day today. Got a lot of stuff done. I will be sleeping well tonight, that's for sure. Let me make you official on the X and the square. And thanks for joining us all the way from beautiful South Carolina, Joey. Now, here's a station that's probably busy in April with all the stuff going on, SWL 109. I'll get to Mr. Crawdad checked in. SWL 110. SWL 111. Robert checked in on the list not too long ago. Uh-oh, here comes Australia, SWL 113. It's about that time, a little late. They were in about 8:30 last night on the dish banks. SWL checked in as 00, and possibly again as 114. 114.
114 checking in for the second time.
All right, 8 times 2, 16 X's and 8 squares. Not bad at all. Thanks for joining us, and we'll look for you next week. You'll be in the mix. We'll see if we pull it out again.
All right, Dennis. Catch you next week.
Okay, let's head up to, speaking of SWL, it's the guy that's got the card on the wall for, the last 50 or 60 years. SWL 128, John. John is in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm looking to see if he's jumped in anywhere. Oh, he's right there. I'm looking over here, and he's right in front of me. Thanks, John. You might be checking. We have a way to join the chat. If you're at oldtuberadio.net on the tube, on the video, on the picture with the big tube, not on the video. You don't have to actually join in to the video. You can just stay on the page and jump into the chat. That is a feature. That is a feature, not a failure. So hopefully that'll work. And yes, 111 was in early, and I did get Robert. Sometimes I can hear him direct, but he was on the Universal Media Netweb tonight. Let's go to SWL 131. SWL 135.
Hello, Dennis and everybody. SWL 135 checking in. Hey, I love the RCA 77 microphone with the OTR flag. It really completes the look.
It does. I had to cover up because it has the radio station. And what I should do is actually bring this in the shot more. But it has the station logo on it. So what I could do is I bring it up and I tilt it. I don't want to break it. I tilt it back. Is that going to work? No, that's just. All I see is the microphone. I'm going to have to turn it down. But I'm being nice. I will peek over the microphone now. It's fun. It's a fun microphone. Over.
Oh yeah, and the OTR flag, like I say, really makes it look official. Love it.
All right, good stuff. You are sounding good. Thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network. And all the skip. Before the skip comes in, let me say hello to. I can. You know what? You're right there. SWL 145. I'll get Tony because he checked in a couple nights ago or last night. And SWL 147. That's what I wanted to get to. And I believe Tony has left me some questions, and we'll do a quick question from Tony between the break here. 147. What is going on, Neil? Kakalaki, hot temp today, 90 plus. Wow. Cooling off tomorrow. Radio's very quiet with brief openings, that's for sure. At 12, 10, 11, I don't know about 15, but it's been slim pickings up here on the higher frequencies. Copy train wreck on channel 21. I'm hollering back. All right. I think there's some videos. But anyway, they got the antenna up. Trainwreck's got the antenna up at 60 feet now. They got it going on. So I'm glad they're hanging around tonight because if we get any skip, I'm handing it over to them. Thanks, Neil, for checking in. All right, let me get back to regular time here. And, there it is. That's what I want to say hello to way out there in the Wasama swamps. In the background, every good radio operator has what we would call a floor director or somebody that is behind the scenes but helps the greatness of the person in front of the microphonium continue on. And like I have my crew here at Old Tube Radio Network with Charlie and Chet. If you go to Old Radio Night and you wonder how does Mr. JT out there in the Wasama swamps be such a cool guy all the time, and it's because in the backgrounds he has a similar situation with West Virginia hillbilly, making sure that things run well. And the lights come on when the lights are supposed to come on and all of that. So a tip of the OTR hat to West Virginia Hillbilly 2 for helping out on the old radio night. I know you are appreciated because I need the same thing here. It's hard to add pictures to radio. And they do a good job out there on ORN, and that's why we link up, the coast-to-coast link. Nobody else does that. Anyway, good to see you out there, and hope you're enjoying the visit. The Old Tube Radio Network. Okay, Neil is in. Let's go locally. Hello, Bobby, SWL 188. Snow Beast Jr. Somebody said proxy him in. I will do that. Okay, we might have to go back to page 1. Let's go to SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis.
Checking in from Course Gold. A beautiful day up there today, I bet. And another one tomorrow. You are sounding good, Jim, and I've got you checked in.
Thank you, sir.
And D510 out of Madeira. Robert is listening in. I think he's got a microphonium, but maybe not the antenna. But 223, if you are listening, we've got you checked in. I think, did I put you in the right spot? Yeah, you're there, and it says checked in. And then we'll also get Mr. 226 Shockwave. He's out and about, running around the mobile area. And then let's take, I don't know if they call them late check-ins, but I think it was before we ended. I heard the distinctive key up, or the key down, of SWL 20. Over.
Yes, it is me. Just got in. Hey, time to get something to eat. So, check me in 29 and 54, and I'll be back after some nourishment.
Yeah, we need that. We need that nourishment to keep going here. We got another hour to go and some radio to check in. So good. I don't know if you're listening in on the way back, but you are here now. And go do your thing, and we'll look for you in a moment. And Ben Hurd, that is the way to do it. That is the way to do the radio station. Often I have to listen to the thing that's happening now and the thing that's coming up next, like a network, and you have to kind of work in and get the time. So you're hired. Listening, Ben Hurst listening into, is it OTR ORN or is it OTR ORN? But it's nice to have stereo. Also, Neil, good deal. Neil out there in the south region of North Carolina, another kakalaki going on. They've started a Friday night check-in on Channel 18. Cool stuff. So a lot of things going on. I see a lot of things like nobody's on the air. Well, all right, maybe not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week like it was, but a lot of things like we do, OTR, Old Radio Night, Dish Bank Sideband Net, what's happening up there where Neil is just a way to get on the radio because you have one sitting on the desk. And so that's a good thing. All right, I am going to do what I need to do to get the tube radios up and running. Oh, they said, okay, you know what? Let's do the questions first. And I think when I'm done with that, the band will open up while I'm, waiting to get back here, and then we'll have some skip lines. So I'm looking for the questions because I know they are here somewhere.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Can I get a late check-in for 55, please?
Perfect timing. Not late. 55. You will be in. You'll get the check-in right now.
Thank you.
From up on the hill, I am looking for.
AK6QI checking in on the crossband.
Okay, let's get to Satbeer. Okay, we got a lot of check-ins coming in. AK6QI, KB6GFD. Hello, Satbeer. We missed you on, what was it, the Wednesday night net, but here you are Saturday night on the Old Tube Radio Network, and you are sounding good. Over.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Yeah, I had my antenna down, but I just put it back up today. Hopefully next week I'll be able to talk. But regarding Skip, I'm hearing a New Zealand station on 20 meters right now.
And that is probably the only place you're going to be hearing Skip. We had either an Australia or New Zealand station barely coming in for about 1 minute, as the band opened up here on 11. So 20 is going to be the spot to be to hear the Pacific Coast, which will be fairly easy to do here on the West Coast. And then all the guys on the East Coast are going to be listening to get that second hop. You are sounding good. Thanks for jumping in, and we've got you checked in. KB6GFD 73.
Thank you so much, and the 73 is to you too.
All right, Satbeer checking in on the crossband questions. All right, this one. All right, this is wacky. I don't know about this at all. The original FM modulator was patented. What format did manufacturers wishing to get into that market invent, which became popular instead? Who words these things? Okay, the original FM modulation was patented. Okay. What format did manufacturers wishing to get into that market invent, which became popular instead? And the answers are A, AM, B, phase modulation, C, pulse modulation, and D, FM modulators were never patented. All right, well, you have an original FM, so what did they do to get in the market? So it's probably not AM. And it says that the modulators were patented, so let's throw out that. So it's either going to be phase modulation or pulse modulation. Somebody says B and somebody says D. Well, D was modulators were never patented. Maybe that's true. Maybe they just said they were. You know how it is. Let's do it and say that we did it. But no, and B is the answer. Who said that? Richard, yes, you are correct. It is phase modulation was the other format that manufacturers wishing to get into the market invented that became popular instead. But you might be working with that. All right, next question. They want me to move on, and we will. An inductor, not a conductor, but an inductor wrapped. Okay, here's a good one. An inductor, open up, if you've got one, open up your reverse preamps. Make sure they're turned off and don't touch anything, but take the case off and you'll know the answer to this. An inductor wrapped around a resistor attached to the plate lead of a grounded grid power amplifier is used for. What is that used for? What is that thing doing when you open up the top of your reverse preamp and you look down and you see that like that wire or whatever that is, that inductor we'll call it, wrapped around the resistor that is attached to the plate lead of a grounded grid amplifier. What is that doing? And they're in there a lot. And yes, I knew this. I knew there'd be a lot of correct answers. Parasitic compressor, parasitic choke, parasitic compressor, or parasitic suppression is what is happening there. So when you open up the case here, you think, what? They didn't know how to solder? They just twisted the wires together? No, they're making a little choke thing there, a little suppression for your IMD, so that you don't look like the guys on Channel 6. All right, we'll be back in a moment with your tube radios, the old Tube Radio Network. Have a good evening, but don't go away. Okay, I was going to run over to the green room and get a cookie, and they say, you do not have time. Well, we'll save a cookie for you. So with that in mind...
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by...
OTR.
Brought to you on...
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, I am back. I'm going to jump into the air chair here, and we're looking good. So let me clear the rigs. And that's supposed to clear the rigs. Okay, there it is. It's just very slow. Coming up next, your tube radios glowing in the dark. These are the classic. Most of them should be the classic Class D Citizen Radio Service, 1958 to 1978. Somewhere in between that time, look down. There might be some vacuum tubes in the whole thing, or in the transmitter section if it's a hybrid, built mainly here in America, but as things went along, there were some imports as well. If you got them, bring them in. OTR's listening.
135, 135.
77.
Okay, I hear 3 and 135, 77, and 56. So, Phil, you will be Radio 3, so you can jump into the green room. Dennis, likewise, look for the flashing red light that lets you know that you'll be coming up next, and heading to the air chair as I speak onto the ribbon microphone with the pasted on OTR logo. We'll say hello to Mr. Green Arrow. Over.
Oh, I made it in first this time, eh? Okay, yeah, and again, I really love the look of that. It's the official OTR broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world. Let's see, this radio here is from the General Radio Telephone Company in beautiful downtown Burbank, California. I just love saying that. It has, this is the Super MC11A. It has 24 channels and 9 tubes. And the microphone here is the General CM3, Charlie Mike number 3, handheld plastic unamplified microphone. Back to you.
Back to me in the studio. I gotta keep trying not to knock into the microphone stand here. And we have a picture. We have a picture of, I believe, the radio on which you are talking, as it says it is from your collection. It is indeed tuned to the green area, channel 11, properly lit and awaiting its time to be on the air, which is now. Always sounding good. Beautiful downtown Burbank. I think we did a Google air search and there's an address on Burbank Boulevard or wherever it was, and I don't think they're there anymore. Over.
Yeah, probably not. It's been a while, I think, since they've been manufacturing stuff. But yeah, I'd really love to see that sometime. I'm not sure exactly where they would be over there. I haven't been to Burbank in a very long time. Anyway, yeah, interesting that this has 24 channels instead of the regular number 23. And the 24th channel on here, which is often like a Mars cap or something like that frequency, this actually has channel 24 in it. Back to you.
And it is the 26 something. Somebody said it was the reverse of channel 11, Crystal, if you had a walkie-talkie. I'm trying to see it. Oh, there it is. I zoomed in, channel selector, and underneath, in absolutely no fanfare whatsoever, it says 24 channel. And I don't even think it mentions that it's Civil Air Patrol, but on your dial, as you're tuning around 11, 12, 13, 14, when you get to that area, the 24 channel, what does it show? Is this a blank, or does it say something?
No, this one is just blank, which may be why it actually has channel 24 in it. I'm not sure, because some of them say CAP, Civil Air Patrol. This one does not. On channel 9, it does say help, 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 like from the Underdog show, But yeah, the channel 24 on this particular radio is blank.
All right, but it's there. And I think if I had my Helicopters walkie-talkie and I swapped my channel 11 receive and transmit crystals around, I might be able to say hello radio. I was never involved in Civil Air Patrol. I don't know anybody who was, to get the skinny, as we used to say, on what they would do, or if there was interference, or if they just gave up on it or how effective it might be. But it's nice to know that radio was there. And me thinks it might have also been an out with general radio telephone to the FCC, that they could have the little plug or whatever the thing is in the back of your radio that allows it to do a little bit more than 5-watt DC input. Were you to actually be part of the Civil Air Patrol? Over.
Yeah, perhaps that's what it was for. There is, in the manual, they discuss it for import, export, something like that, and they give great detail. And I mean great detail on exactly, to where to put a jumper wire and all that kind of stuff. Again, great detail as to precisely what not to do unless this is for import-export.
Way back in the early 60s where, it was the don't cut the green wire. Now, we were, last night after the net, we were looking on eBay on the newer I'll call them export radios that are touting that they're 450 watts or 600 watts and all this stuff. And you're thinking, wait a minute, how is that possible? And here, in the smallest font, and in that 8-point font, it just says 24 channels, and there's no touting of, at least on the radio itself, that perhaps you could do a little bit more. But to open the manual, and there might be a way to do that. 9 tubes, 2 transistors. I believe it will go DC, so that might be what the transistors are doing. There are 9 tubes in it total. The modulator, the output tube's an ECLL 800, or it's supposed to be. Kind of unobtainium and rare now, but I think that was their magic when they went to the Super series of the MC9. I guess they had a Super MC8 too. I think they changed that modulator tube. Also a 12AX7 as well in the mic preamp, and sounds like you got one of the good ones. Chris's radio was the same way, just super loud. If you get that perfect 12AX7 A that's set up for audio rather than music, and you are good to go. A lot of nice comments, thumbs up from our listeners tonight, so the Super MC11A is a good item. Over.
Roger, the final amp is a 6GE5. I think that's the great big giant tube in the middle. It's a 6GE5. But, as you can tell just by looking at it, this is definitely meant to be a base mobile. There's a mounting bracket for it and all that kind of good stuff. So they were definitely designed to go mobile. Give you that extra talk power, from your car. After all, how else are you going to acknowledge that you picked up that loaf of bread and that jug of milk?
Unit 1, the base, over, or actually you would say your call. Now, again, the radio is licensed. The call goes to the radio, not to the operator like it does in ham radio. So were I to be on your radio system, I would be using the call that would be Dymo labeled affixed to the front of the set. Sounding good. I put the meter up as S7 to S9, a great forward modulation, perfectly nice audio, obviously 100%, and then some, and doing a good job. It is our first radio of the evening, General Radio Telephone, Super MC11A from Burbank. And these sold, I thought I had a price on these, but I believe they were probably in the $250 range at this time. You can find out more on Sam's if you got book 22, page 45. And one of our favorites. It's a West Coast radio, and we check in a lot of them here on the West Coast. Back to you for transmission. Thanks for bringing it by and doing a good job.
Oh, thanks for letting me check it in. Yeah, from beautiful downtown Burbank. There's a few radios that were made out here. It's nice to hear them still working. Oh yeah, Chris did say cap on channel 24. So there are some variations on this. And before we turn it over, do you happen to remember what year the A was made, the MC11A?
Let me dive into an archive here. I'm looking at the A, but if I go back, and and I go back again, let me pull up the general radio telephone MC11. And I'm going to pull up a picture of that so somebody can see it. And a little bit different. There's no A. There's no GRT. There's no general radio telephone logo. What we'll do is we'll ask Harvey. It looks like the rack handles are different as well. But he knows there was a transformer change or whether there's something wacky in the transformer. So let me see. It says on the A, nothing. Okay, I don't have any information. So I cannot answer that question over.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to take up a lot of time. I was just curious. It was probably late 60s, very early 70s, something like that. But I'm not sure. I don't know that much about the General Radio Telephone Company. It was they made a lot of stuff and then they kind of vanished. So again, thanks for letting me check it in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Okay, and I think the MC12, which is the radio after this, that in theory didn't get type accepted by the FCC and was happening when General Radio Telephone was selling out to Skyhawk Communications, was sometime in probably 1971 or 72. So this is probably an early 70s radio as they were phasing out the compression ratios in your Buick 455 engines in 1970 and 71. They were also phasing these radios out as well. Sounding good. Thank you, sir. Jingle Singers would like to do something. We'll help them out, and then we'll be back with our next radio.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and maybe even you. The Old Tube Radio Network on the air on Saturdays thanks to your radios and your ability to jump into the air chair since the mid-1980s. In our 40th year of doing this, a lot of people do something similar, so good for you. And we are appreciative to our tube radio operators that before the days of eBay, I kid you not, before the days of, getting on the Universal Media Net Web and saying, I'm gonna bid on that radio, I had to go around and search for these things at garage sales and flea markets and whatever it was, however it was that they got it. Somebody said, don't forget to turn on your light over the Orban. So good stuff. All right, next, coming up, heading to the air chair is... out there in Train Wreck Central, I think. 77 and 42, hello, radio.
Hello, radio. Yeah, 1017, Train Wreck on E.F. Johnson's Little Boat Anchor, their first rendition of a Citizens Band radio, a 5-channel white face. And this one, boy, it's got beautiful emerald transmit light and... boy, a nice bright amber emerald receive light to go with it.
The little jeweled light, I actually did long ago a net control on my Johnson Viking Messenger that had a loose crystal. I was always having to kind of smack the top of the radio to get the crystal to stay in line on channel 11. And I remember if somebody, back in the day, when we had a lot of people, somebody was on channel 10, that's the person I heard. So it had a very wide receiver. But as you are proving, and we'll talk about some of the things you're doing to make it so, the audio and just the quality was always right there. But I like the little jeweled lights. You have to have the lights down low to make sure that it's on. But it lets you know that at least something's turned on, right?
Yeah, I can look at those things all night. They're beautiful. It's really cool how they did that. And yeah, we finally finished up the antenna and tower project and got it up there where it belongs. And I was glad to hear that I made that long distance connection there. I think he was in Tennessee, you said. So glad Train Wreck here made it all the way out that way.
Yeah, said he heard you guys. No problem. Looking good on the S meter. Nice audio. It is neither too bassy, too muddy, too tinny. Because you were talking about I'll let you explain that, but a Heil Elements in a D104, but that is the perfect, whatever element you've got, I think it was HC5, it is a perfect match for that radio. They usually came with a standard, push-to-talk style, or some of them have the static, what they call the ice cream cone microphonium with them. Also, here's a question. Normally the microphone was wired in. I mean, this radio, 1958, 59, 60, it's like, they weren't selling power microphones, amplified microphones to stick on your radio, so they just wired them in to make it easy. So you've got something different. So did they put a jack in, or just rewire it through the hole?
The pigtail is still coming out the front of the radio, and Jerry worked his magic and put a female 4-pin on the end of it and wired it for Cobra. And all the microphones here are wired for Cobra, so we can plug them into any of the radios. All the radios are wired for Cobra also, Cobra 4-pin. He also worked his magic on a beautiful aesthetic Golden Eagle and did a really nice job putting a Heil HC5 element, no transformer. We thought we'd give it a shot and run it directly to the amplifier board and just kind of see if this was a match made in heaven or if it was a catastrophe. And hey, lo and behold, it sounds like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, in fact, for anybody listening that might be thinking, that's not a bad deal. So you have the Heil. It's an HC5, which I think is their wider frequency response, and it's in the D104, wired into that, and then wired to the radio. So there doesn't seem to be, it doesn't sound like there's any impedance mismatching, because you'd hear that. And so if anyone wants to try that, it may be a way to go. Over.
Yeah, he got some special hard foam, and he took the time to cut it to the shape inside the D104, and then he cut the middle out just so that little HC5 fits in there nice and snug, and then worked his magic on the wiring down to the board, and, well, here you go. You're hearing it.
All right, let me put up all the meters, and I'll have you do a test here before we go. I don't know exactly how far you are from the microphone. Well, we'll call that standard. That's your neutral. So what I'd like to hear is if you back up maybe 6 to 12 inches, or arm's length if you're not there already, and then we'll do it here, get right up on the microphonium to hear the difference in the sound of what it does. Over.
Okay, I've been talking to you about 6 inches away. I'll come up on it. Okay, now I'm right up on the microphone. Now I'm back to 6 inches away, and now I'm going away. Now I am an arm's length away, and now I'll come back to about 6 inches away.
And that is non-amplified, correct?
No, this one is amplified, Golden Eagle.
Oh, really? All right, we've got the amplification down, because when you went back, you dropped off considerably. I didn't hear room noise or echo, which is probably actually the way it should be. You've got it really dialed in at the, the 6 to 8 inch away from the element. And when you got up on it, I really didn't hear any distortion. It got louder, so it played exactly the way it should. And like again, I think you've got the amplification about right. You could turn it up, and you could do the let's be 3 feet away, but you would have room noise and everything else. And I'm definitely not hearing that. For our listener viewers who would like to get into the driver's seat of what's going on, are you simulcasting on Radio Lifer? Over.
Yeah, they will be able to see this conversation and the rig, the microphone, and just kind of take it all in. We don't run too long a video. We keep it short and sweet on YouTube and TikTok. That would be Radio Lifer with 4 R's on the end of Lifer, and I appreciate you letting us plug that, Dennis.
No, it's fun. It really is a nice way where you're sitting, we're all SWLing here, and all of a sudden it's like, come on in, jump in the air chair. Let me show you what's going on. So it's pretty cool. Thanks for that. Radio number 2, the classic. If you are in radio ever, CB radio back at any time, if you didn't have one of these, you talked to somebody that did. the loaf of bread, the Johnson Whiteface, the radio that if you had a business and you were going to say KEO 8492 based Unit 1, pick up a loaf of bread, you got this radio. If you were really into it and you had the stacked Moonrakers, you probably had this radio before you went wazoo and and got the Browning Eagle. But this is, I don't know what you call it, the VW, the Ford, the Ford Falcon, the Chevy Malibu. It is the radio, and it still works well, built well, considering that it's 70 years old, and you can still put microphones on it and make it do incredible stuff. Easy to work on. Nice. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thank you.
Okay, jumping up into the air chair, 56 Phil, you'll have time. Do not rush. The Jingle Singers are going to give us a little something.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Like the way they say wonderful. Fresno, California, hoping that indeed it might be true what they say. Phil, are you at the microphonium?
Oh, yes, I am, and I would like to offering water, the Tram Titan Alpha.
All right, Tram Titan 2 Alpha, and I don't know, there's a little bit of, well, maybe more than a little bit of extra audio. I don't know if it would be because there's too much mic gain or what, so keep an eye on any wiggle meters or modulation meters. I can hear what you're saying, so come on back and I'll see what's going on with the Tram Titan 2A over. Okay, now the noise isn't as loud, but neither are you. So now you're about 25% modulation. I can still hear you. So if you made an adjustment, maybe you would be in between the two adjustments. I've got the picture of the Tram Titan 2A, and one would immediately think, well, wait a minute. That looks more like a stereo gear with the Naugahyde top and the nice wood paneling, but indeed this was a very sort of limited edition from Tram. Take a transmission.
Well, another adjustment has been made, but yes, it is a very stylish type cabinet. All 35 pounds of it.
Wow, okay, but does that have a flip top? Is there a 45 record changer in there?
I don't know what this originally retailed out for, but it probably should.
I think I have a price on this. So this was one of the top of the line Trams that was competing with the top of the line everything else. And just on a side note here, if you're just tuning in or you haven't wandered by the Old Tube Radio Network before, what we're doing is and think of it, if you've been to a car show before from the 1950s and 1960s with the great cars that a lot of them had, like an Edsel or Studebaker, that the manufacturers aren't around anymore, but the cars are cool, the fins, the chrome, the aroma, just that classic styling when you could actually style something before you couldn't because of gas efficiency. This is the equivalent in the radio world for citizen band radio. And it might have been true for ham, but we're focusing on the Class D 11-meter radios. Made. This one is probably a late 1960s vintage radio, and we're going into the styling here, as you can see, that looks more like a stereo gear at the time, so that you would be able to bring it into the house. You could go to your significant other and say, "Hey, how about if we put this on the in the living room table?" Next to the Sears color TV, and then after Jackie Gleason is off at 9 o'clock, we'll turn it on and talk to somebody. So really nice looking radio from Tram, and top of the line with a separate receiver, separate transmitter. Back to you. Let's see where the audio is behaving now. Over.
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. The Tram Titan 2A was the last of the all-tube Tram Titan series. After the 2A came the Tram Titan 3, which was a hybrid. So this is a single sideband AM radio. Over.
All right, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, singles. Their first trams were double sideband. The 1966 that was in. This is okay. 1971. This is later than I thought. The price was $498. That's the original price. So $500 in 1971, where at the time you could probably buy a nice, if not a black and white console TV, like 25-inch color, maybe a colored console TV for that price. You could probably go down in 1971 to the local car dealer guy on the corner, and for $498, if you didn't buy this radio, could probably drive away with a 1963 Ford Falcon for the same price. Tram Titan 2A added a nice wood cabinet and some electrical updates, especially a bigger, better modulator final tube, 15 tubes. That's got 15 diodes, Collins mechanical filter in the front end. So here they're adding some of the high-end expensive stuff that was in the high-dollar amateur radio gear of the time to make it top of the line. So that's why you paid $500 for this. Over.
Well, I suppose it was worth it to me when I bought it, but of course I didn't pay that price for it. I haven't seen too many of the Tram Titan 2A listed, so they're a little bit on the scarce side. I think Tram was in a hurry to push the Titan 3, which was the hybrid, and that my understanding is that kind of failed miserably.
This is the failed miserably frequency. Okay, your noise of the audio is gone down, but the level is low. It's been consistent, so I haven't really having you turn knobs or press dials. But it sounds like there's a bad or almost connection going on somewhere, and it could be in the microphonium head, the relay circuit there. But I hear you, and at some point I kind of expect it to just come up and be super loud. That is, I misspoke. It's a double sideband AM, so that meant it's got LSB or USB, so you can receive lower or upper sideband, but it transmits on double sideband. It's 23 channels, so this is back in the day when most of the sideband activity was on 16 or somewhere around it. I'm sure there was plenty of modifications to put the FCC non-approved VFOs. And I'm just freaking out over 15 tubes, because typically on a sideband radio, you'd have 12 or 13 tubes, should you'd have that extra tube for the product detector. So I'm wondering what they did with those extra 2 tubes. Let's go back to you for another transmission. I've got it logged in for Radio 3. It is a very rare tram. Like you said, it was kind of an interim between hybrid and not hybrid, but all solid tubes. And really, let me get the, if you're watching the video, I'm going to go to the extreme close-up here. And you can see, it's a radio. It's like your car. You're going to have to polish the wood and get out the Armor All and scrub the top and make it shine, and you're good to go. It's got the 2 dials. One is a channel crystal-controlled transmitter, which you had to have, the FCC required you to have that. And then the other was a tunable receive as well, not unlike a lot of their other radios, and plenty of controls for your audio and video dining and dancing. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Dennis. I found that interesting. I had always thought it was double sideband, but before this afternoon I did a Google search, and they said it was single sideband. So I don't know what is what, but I'm sure that.
All right, the oscillation came back. I will check that, because my chart is showing double sideband AM. Of course, the control is going to say LSB and USB, because you have to select the receive part of that. But we'll find out. Is it just de-inserting the AM carrier when you go to any sideband and you can select what you want to listen to, or or not. Interesting. The Tram Titan 2A, around 1971, after their more utility models, and just before, like you said, the Titan 3, and I guess the Diamond, the D201. I'm going to go back to the 4 splits. I want to see what your meter reading is. So have you come back one more time as we got the S meter up here. Over.
Okay, well, I'm back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and I can hear that. So there's some unhappiness in the mic connector or some impedance items coming out there, but when the audio is coming through, and it's king the radio, so that's not the issue. Good stuff. Thanks for bringing it by. Did anybody ever have one of these? I've been very rare, unlike the prior E.F. Johnson from Viking. But 1971, 70, things were happening. The solid states were coming on the way. There was a million CBers plus, and sideband was the thing. So Tram was just trying to keep up with the times. So thanks. And yeah, sometimes, getting a little bit of extra a thwack on the microphonium or a thump on the radio sometimes helps those what sounds like loose connections going on. And the other thing, and here's another reason why we're here on the Old Tube Radio Network. It's just like a car. If you don't drive the thing around the block once a week, it may not be really happy. So this gives our tube radio collectors a chance to do just that. Take them out of the garage and drive them around. The Old Tube Radio Network, you're listening on 27085.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
The Old Tube Radio Network, coming up to the end of the program here, but we're listening for any and all check-ins. Good night to Gerald, off to bed. You have to get up at 10 a.m. We are here on the West Coast, so currently coming up at 10 o'clock here, but we have listeners across the U.S., and good morning to the stations just getting up in the U.K., and up in Europe, and good afternoon to the stations possibly listening in the Pacific, and hello radio to anybody that's listening to the replay in a year from now. We're listening. That's the word I was looking for, Rob. Percussive maintenance. Is that where on the IFR the screen shows a little fist? It's like, that's the best I can do. The rest is up to you. Take a shot at it. We had a couple of stations that would run the Siltronics 1011Ds, and number 2, Kevin would leave his on for a month so that it wouldn't drift when he was doing sideband. It actually worked. Or wouldn't drift too much.
I've got 2 of them, and when I used to run mine, I never turned it off. 24/7, 365 days a year.
And those are a lot of tubes. I think it's a tube receive and a tube transmit. It's not a hybrid. And when I worked early on at the TV station, that was sort of a thing. The stuff that was tube gear, the engineers would say, it's like a light bulb. It's probably okay to keep it on. Tubes don't mind the heat. Not like a transistor. You got to have, fans and things blowing on. Tubes don't mind the heat. And like a light bulb, that filament is expanding and contracting when you turn it off and on. So sometimes if if it's safe, if it's not going to burn up, or you set it on the asbestos pad. So when it flames up, the rest of the house doesn't catch on fire.
Yeah, they say that it keeps them from gassing too, from losing their gas. if you just leave them on, because you stay away from the expansion and contraction like you were saying.
Okay, we'll be counting and amounting here. I know it's a busy weekend. The weather here on the West Coast is nice. We've got some rain coming up, so a lot of people wanting to either go have a good time somewhere, whether it's out at the lake or the mountains or in the garden. So we will keep that in mind. But we have still have plenty of room on the radio list and a few moments to check people in. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. And it's proven me wrong. I really thought tonight we would have, and we got about 1 minute of the Pacific coming in, but I thought we would have some sporadic E sneaking in, and that hasn't happened. Well, it hasn't happened on this frequency, anyway. I'm kind of dragging my feet waiting for Harvey's alarm clock to go off.
Wait a minute. You can't hear me on the other radio?
I can hear you on this radio, over.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do this one first while we attempt to diagnose the other one's issue. The other one that went out on the radio. Got it. Okay, well, for your listening pleasure from the Radio Lounge. This is a Robin T123B as in Bravo that seems to be working because it didn't get lugged outside last Saturday night.
It sounds good. I think this is the one that you checked in SWL-wise on. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was, because after last Saturday night, I brought the 123 in and was just too lazy to hook it back up online. So, yes, this is the one that I checked in. And I have to say, out of all the conversations tonight, it's really interesting that the other gentleman kind of did an experiment as far as how far away from the microphone he ought to be talking. I am not about 6 inches away. And I think that was kind of where the best audio came from the other guy. But it's late at night, and this is not an amplified mic I have right now, so it's kind of just a haphazard way of checking in, I suppose.
Well, it's okay. You're about, 70% modulated. The modulation is fine, not buzzing, not clipping, not oscillating. But certainly not the full flavor that one could or might expect from the Robin T123B, the classic Panasonic 2 chassis that shared its internal workings with some other radios as well, although the Robin appeared to get all of the extra pieces on the front. So think of the difference between your Ford with 2 headlights and the Mercury with 4 headlights, or the like the Pontiac, and as opposed to a Cadillac, where they're going to put a little bit more insulation and a few more gadgets. But it sounds good, and it is working. Over.
Okay, good. Well, I appreciate that report. Yeah, it's lacking the Magic Eye tube, which is kind of a little bit of a bummer. I've spent a lot of time this past week. YouTube has sent me a lot of clips to watch just regarding like old electronics. I seem to see a lot of reports on like Apollo 13, Apollo 11, just like instrument bulbs, cabin illumination equipment that we had. It was really, really, really interesting. It's like, unless I'm mistaken, 24 volts light bulbs. Anyways, incandescent. It was really cool. This, I think this just has small LED tubes, which are barely working right now when I'm chatting, but there it is. I'm curious, before I get out of here, I'm going to go get the other radio back on and see if I can get it to work. But everyone sounds great on it, and what a delightful evening. It's better than vintage days, by my opinion, for sure.
I got to agree with you. It's been a good day, a good night tonight. Classic radio, even with the little small microphone that comes with it, the audio is pretty good. But yeah, for that radio, if you could get something like a Demco modulator in line with whatever microphone you've got, or an amplified microphone just a little bit, could help out a little bit. But you're close enough. You've got almost a full quieting signal, and we hear you okay. Unlike our prior radio that was 15 tubes, this is 11 tubes, which is a little bit more standard for a transceiver. That's the tube for receive and transmit. 2 transistors help out to give it some DC to DC conversion. If you're going to go mobile off the 12-volt system, it was produced from 1972 to 1976. It's a 23-channel version. 1976-77, they switched over to the 40 channels. The FCC switched to 40 channels, and then you couldn't even weren't even allowed to sell a 23-channel radio. That was the weirdest rule ever. So they modified this particular chassis for 40 channels at that time. But had they not, they probably would have just kept selling these until nobody wanted to buy tubes anymore. It sounds good. And yeah, if you're hooking it up now or ready to, go ahead with the other radio and we will listen in. And I just want to mention, if you go to oldtuberadio.com, if you are interested, and look up the the Robin T123B. There's an operator's manual on a PDF and a schematic on a PDF. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. And I'm listening to see if the other radio is generating some RF. Or enough RF that we can hear it. Uh-oh, Scarecrow with thunder and lightning. All right, disconnect the coax, and we'll catch you next week.
Hey, Mike?
I think I heard him for a second.
Yeah, you did. Yes, Harvey.
I heard him.
Yeah, on the other band.
All right, he's on the crossband, but he may have been the other way. So whatever, I don't know what radio he was trying to check in, but it appears to be not doing it.
I can receive perfectly. Transmit does not work right now. Let me work on this.
Okay, and as you heard, it's the RX is good, the TX not so good. And Harvey, take a transmission before we get out of here. Over.
Okay, the Golden Beagle, R68T68, from Browning Laboratories. The Civil Air Patrol frequency was 26,630. That's 620. The Johnson Channel 11 receive frequency was 26,630. Close, but no cigar. The Sam's Photo Facts list the book 22 is 1969. The Super MC9 is in book 16, which is 1968. Around that time, there were so many radios asking for to get into Sam's that, I mean, book 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, all within like a year or so. Anyway, so figure the MC11A early or mid 60s.
Not late 60s, because would it not be after the 8 and the 9? Obviously, there was no 10, and there was the 11 that was short-lived, and I think what was a transformer issue or something, and then the 11A, right?
Well, assume that radios were trying to get into the Sam's books, and let's say there was a backlog. So let's say the MC9 came out in 65, and it took several years to get into the book. So I'm looking at, I've got some general radio telephone literature I can't reach it right now, but maybe by next week I'll know. The issue may have been channel frequencies. They changed the actual crystal frequency along with the mixer frequency, single crystal, between the 11 and the 11A, okay? And maybe that's why after they changed that, they designated the radio as an 11A. Although, on the serial number tag on the back of 11As, it still says 11. Just the front says 11A.
All right. Well, you know, they were sort of making this up as they went along. We had that letter from the General Radio Telephone guys. That a lot of times they're on the kitchen table trying to figure out how to fix the broken things and do something new. And I did the math because I mentioned the Channel 11 walkie-talkie that I had from Hallicrafter, and you switch the crystals around. But it was, 455 was the some type of offset frequency, right? So if you've got 26,630 and you add 455 to it, guess where it takes you? It takes you to 27,085. So I think that's why it was close. And a lot of the walkie-talkies and a lot of those radios were like super gen receivers. So if you were 10 kc close to whatever frequency you were listening to, you would probably hear it. So that makes sense. It's just the 455 offset coming out of that. So easy stuff. All right, Harvey, thanks for jumping in. We've got the picture of the Golden Eagle by Browning. It's not the Mark II. It's not the Eagle, but the Golden Eagle, the set in between those where we have the nice flying eagle on the speaker, R68, T68, the R68, of course, the receiver unit, the T68, the transmitter. Stick it together, and it sounds as good as yours.
Okay. Should be available next week. And so we'll catch you then. Let's see. If there are any other questions, I'll be sitting here for a little bit.
All right, I think we're doing good. I'm going to try and get out of the air chair here. It's been a long day, and I'm on the rented microphone, and I'm trying not to break things here, so it's been good. So I'll do some counting and amounting and reading. Also, let me see if Michael has got he says he's got the receive, but not the transmit. So we'll listen some more if you're going to try transmit. Over.
Does it work now?
I can hear you now. Over.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? Test 1, 2, 3. Is it still working?
This is the "we're not kidding you" frequency, and it sounds good. Over.
I don't need aggravation on a Saturday night. I think. I think I might have had at one point in time an issue with the PA switch on this radio, which let's check it in before it breaks too. Greetings to all again. 47 here on the Robin T123 with Magic Eye tube that seems to be putting audio out. The receive on it moments ago was just wonderful. Good God, it was just great. But zero transmission, but hopefully it's still working. But I guess, according to my extravagant engineering degree I've got, I can fix radios as long as it involves toggling switches and rotating dials, often at a vigorous pace. So hopefully that fixed my solution.
Exactly. A little exercising of the rotating of the pots and flipping of the switches. And that makes sense. You could have something that's like the receive is there, but the transmit's not quite. I think I can. I think that's what Phil was having some issue with, some contacts or something on that, on the tram and the microphonium. Simon, out there in VK3 land, New Zealand, say it's sounding great, and I agree. This is the radio prior to the Robin T123B, prior to 1972. They give you an extra tube, and not only do they give you an extra tube, let me go to the close-up here. They put it so you can take a look at it. They cut a hole in the escutcheon and then in the front of the radio. That tube is just standing up in a socket, and you're looking right into the side of the tube. and you've got the two illuminated top and bottom. And as, I guess, the voltage or whatever happens as those top and bottom come together, it indicates that you are close to your 100% modulation. They use that a lot for tuning. Some of you might know it had a radio with a tuner. When the station was tuned in, the two lights would go together, and maybe you had a tape recorder, an audio reel-to-reel tape recorder that gave you the modulation meter like that. But cool stuff. All done with a little, I don't think that was a 6RE13, but all done with a cool little tube instead of a meter. Don't you love it? Like I said, it was like the cars that had the rotating speedometers and the little inserts that changed colors, et cetera, the swiveling seats. This was the version of that in a radio. It says, what can we do? What can we do to keep you entertained while you're talking away? Okay, it's working good. So you have whatever you did, make a note, and hopefully you won't have to do it again over.
Number one, I hope I won't have to do it again. I have I don't know, something might have happened. Like I said, it was out on the radio patio last week. So maybe, I don't know, something, it just wasn't happy. But there it is. It does have, I think you mentioned it, I think this Magic Eye tube is the 6RE13, I believe. It's just phenomenal. And I did reading on this a very, very, very long time ago. And I think the Robin Company used the Magic Eye tubes because it was cheaper than like adding in, I don't know, the circuitry to hook the transmit into the regular needled meter. But I don't know, there was something about it being the cheapest method possible. And of course, it's kind of the opposite nowadays, which is just too bad. I'm so fascinated by these old technologies and basically old engineering. I mean, this Magic Eye tube, I'm assuming it's original to the radio, and this is what 55-ish years old, and it's still working. So I challenge you, cellular telephone users. Talk to me in 55 more years, and let's see if that communications device is still functioning perfectly.
Well, sir, you bring up a good point. Nobody who has participated in the Old Tube Radio Network tonight will get a bill at the end of the month for the airtime used to check in. There will be no billing process. Also, you will not be tracked, and there will not be any type of spam in your inbox talking about microphones, tubes, or antennas, because they don't know. So sometimes the old technology has its advantages. Glad that you got it back up and running. Some of the other radios, like the Gemtronics, actually gave you a switch under the meter. It says SRF, so you manually had to switch over because they didn't have some internal relay. And like you mentioned, maybe that internal relay was extra money, or a circuit is like, let's put the tube in there. The tube's going to do its thing. Everything's going to pass through, and away it goes. And it's pretty cool looking too. So we'll just cut a hole in the case. And there it will be. Thank you, sir. It's Radio 6. I'm glad that we got both Robins in, and they are working. Over.
Yeah, I'm just incredibly grateful that this net is still out and available. Again, what a wonderful venue, truly. And we all appreciate your efforts. And at some point in time, I would love to talk about backpacking portable 11-meter directional antennas. Now, just a topic for some other time. On that, 73 from the Radio Lounge, 47.
Yeah, might be able to make a little beverage antenna or something, or a V. Have to be a lot of wire, but if you're stringing it between trees and you're pointing it to where you want to go, it could just work. The issue would be polarity between horizontal and vertical. So if it's Skip you're talking to, not a problem. If it's local, you got to make sure that your receiving station is tuned into the same flavor of polarity. All right, thanks. Let's go ahead and count an amount. The Jingle Singers will help me out. Were they to be? Where are they? All right, sorry about that. The Jingle Singers helping me out here at the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to OTR. Channel 11.
here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
And Mike, I forgot to mention, I know the Robin T123B gets as hot as a pistol. So, as Rob mentioned, you might be able to cook your slice up your Spam, like you would out in the campsite. Instead of having it on the skillet, slice it up in the foil on top of the 23B and cook it up. I don't know if the 123 gets as hot as the 123B, but if it does, spam away. Let me break for a second here. Back to the control. Many other items of interest for the Old Tube Radio Network before we say 73.
Dennis?
This is the Basic Dennis, over.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. Regarding the Tram Titan 2 double sideband, I asked Google if that was a double sideband radio, and it says yes, but it is capable of single sideband operation. And then it says, furthermore, it is not, however, typically described as a dedicated sideband DSB radio, but rather an AM/SM radio. So I'm still confused.
That is confusing. Unless, they're looking at the fact that it's LSB USB. Okay. There's your, it will do single sideband receive. I don't know. Double sideband receive is AM, basically. I mean, it's going to sound double sideband. Listening to it on AM and AM is going to sound the same as single sideband and AM. It's going to be without a carrier. But that's basically, you and I are doing double sideband right now, but we've inserted a carrier. So if anybody, and that's how I do the zero beat. When you're on AM, I'll go to either lower sideband or upper sideband and look at the the VFO selection to see where the zero beat is. So that's sort of what I'm doing. I'm using the double sideband that we're both doing, and trying to forget about the carrier insertion. So I'm thinking maybe that's where it is. They're saying, yeah, it's single sideband capable on receive, but when you turn on the transmitter, you're just dropping that AM carrier and you're doing the double sideband. And I think their single sideband radio was the D201. I don't know about the 3 or the 4. So more effort is needed to solve the mystery. And there are some Collins radios actually had AM that you could cut off one of the sidebands. It had the Gold Dust Twins, the KWS1. You had a switch. So when you went on AM, you could cut off either the lower sideband or the upper sideband. And I think that was a way when the AM and the sideband guys were trying to fighting, and you got a 6K wide AM signal, you can make your AM only 3K by chopping off one of the sidebands. And if you're listening on AM, you might not notice the difference, but you're looking at a scope, it's like you just narrowed your bandwidth. But I don't think that's a whole different story. We're not quite talking about that. So, all right. Anyway, well, thanks for checking on that. And like they say, Google is your friend sometimes.
Well, I don't know about that artificial intelligence.
I know. They're going to try it and check it out here at the Old Tube Radio Network, I think. Because they're wanting some type of intelligence. It doesn't matter if it's artificial or whatever. They think, maybe if we get somebody in the air chair that has some type of intelligence, we will be doing good.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
This will be the current and final OTR totals. Thank you, Mr. Announcer, the Old Tube Radio Network. We're a little bit late tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. Checking in. Hope you do something like this where you're at. Neil said they're starting something up there in Kakalaki on Friday. Saturday nights are a good thing. There are other ones. You just all of a sudden YouTube will pop up and there's something going on. So check it out. On the SWL tonight, 19 on page 1, 24 on page 2, 15 on page 3, and 4 on page 21. For a total of, that looks about 80. Do you have to be on any list? No, like I mentioned before. It's just we started doing this 40 years ago, and we've kind of pared it down so we don't have 10,000 people on a list. But the way it works out with oldtuberadio.net and the YouTube video, you can come in and join the chat and say hello radio and tune in or tune out. whatever be your pleasure, and we will say thanks for joining us. What we are looking for are the tube radios, and we got a couple tonight from our great tube radio collectors. So if you are collecting radios, doesn't matter where you're at, show us your pictures. You can go to oldtuberadio.net and upload the pictures under the 6L6, whether it's glowing or not, and maybe we can pop them in when we're doing the net here. Radios tonight, the most heard manufacturer appears to be the Robins. I thought we had a 5-way tie, 6-way tie going on. Anyway, we started with Cliff General Radio Telephone Super MC 11A from the mid to late 60s, a powerhouse for sure on the transmit audio department before the FCC started kind of wanting you to have clippers and limiters and turn it down. And even before they started untype accepting radios that would do more than 5 watt DC input, were you to even sneakily say, well, it's Civil Air Patrol or it's 10 meter capable or something like that. Radio number 2, the E.F. Johnson Viking Messenger, the Whiteface, one of the radios that started it all, or helped start it all back in the the late 50s, when the FCC banged the gavel and said, yes, there will be a Class D citizen radio service that is licensable and you don't need to take a test, et cetera, et cetera. The E.F. Johnson, who was making 100-pound radios for the amateurs, the Viking Valiants and the Rangers, said, maybe we can squeeze it down to about 15 pounds and 5 watts, and they did put a receiver in it, and it was a big seller. Radio number 3, Phil on the Tram Titan 2A. We're just talking about that. Is it upper sideband? Is it lower sideband? Is it both? Is it 2 mints in one? And I think all those answers are correct. Another rare radio, but pretty cool. Back when they decided, we got to start making these things look cool so it can sit on the doily next to the fake fruit in the living room. Radio number 4, the Robin T123B, the classic Panasonic 2 chassis. Believe it's plate modulation. If you can find one of those, it is a good workhorse, a good radio. Always decent audio. Good thing for your collection. Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 from Harvey. It is so good. All he has to do is keep the microphonium, and I can tell the ping, and that he's in the radio room. And then we heard the earlier Robin, the T123, with the Magic Eye tube for your modulation. Again, thanks, Mike, and glad that it is functioning. And you found the magic switch, or the unswitch, to do your thing. The Old Tube Radio Network, Saturdays, on Channel 11, from 8 to 10 Pacific time, Pacific Daylight Time. Join us, won't you, or not? And do your own thing whenever you can. And if you're studying or working to include your amateur radio ticket to add to the radio room, a good thing, because the bands are starting to get a little bit quiet, so you give you a little more radio real estate, other things you can do digitally, lots of modes, so it's a fun thing. So work on that, and maybe we'll catch you there. 73, or if you like to do the math, 72 plus 1 from your Old Tube Radio Network.
Good night.
All right, it's time to put the cover over the RCA DX77 and put it to bed.
Good show, Dennis.
Good night, Dennis.
73. Bedtime for Bonzo. When I first saw that movie, I thought, Bedtime for Bozo, I got to watch that. And then Ronald Reagan showed up.
Hey, Dennis.
This is the Basic Dennis. Over.
Around 8 o'clock, I got an alert on my phone while working that the Old Tube Radio Network was coming on, and it said the Bose Space Oak Control show was coming on.
Now that is some AI for you there.
Yeah, I looked at that and went, definitely AI generated.
Well, they're trying. I'm going to break this microphone yet. Somebody asked me a question. The stuff scrolls off the screen. Somebody was roaming base. I don't know if you're still there. Dennis, do you have audio analyzer tools on your side? So can you tell what is the bandwidth of the audio coming in on my side? I have another radio. I have another SDR radio that is at some point I want to incorporate so we can get the screen to do just that. Occasionally, Larry will bring up his SDR and we will cut to that, and you can see. And it's cool. It's a tool. A 21st century tool to see exactly what you said, the audio bandwidth. We could do the ALL. Let's take a look if you're AM with single sideband going on. Also, the big thing is the carrier. Sometimes the carrier will shift. You'll key up at 27085, and as you'll start moving up or down frequency, and it'll show all that, and it's cool. So something we want to do, and something I can incorporate it if I get the SDR. But of course, the radios I'm using don't have that built-in capability, nor do I have some type of a scope or an IFR, whatever, in line to do stuff like that. But it's helpful to the other stations to let them know what is going on. So occasionally I'll just do the poor man's thing, which is doing a zero beat on the carrier to say, yeah, you're 700 cycles low. So that's the best we're doing here, but I hope to be doing something like that in the future. All right, I think that's it. So let me. Oh, and it was John had asked the question about what do they do with the leftovers on that 23 channel thing? It's basically exactly what you mentioned. I remember going into Sears, and there was stacks and stacks of boxes on the floor of their Road Talker CB radios, and they were about a third of the price. I was like, what? But they were all the 23 channel radios, and they had to sell their stock by a certain amount of time. I mean, FCC gave you probably a year to do that, but I think this is all their unsold stock. And who wants to buy a 23 channel radio when 40 channels was out? So they just set them on the floor and said, here you go, $39 for a radio that we used to sell for $190. It's whatever the cost was. We can't sell it after a certain date, so we have to get rid of it. So I remember Sears Roebuck here in Fresno doing that with, I guess it was a Road Talker 23s or whatever the 23 channel radios were that they had in stock, just blowing them out the door. Good night, everybody. Your Old Tube Radio Network.
I'm sorry. Was that a tube radio? It had to have been. It was 23 channel.
No, it was this is 76, 77, so it was their solid state stuff. Most everybody, even Eve Johnson in the late 60s when they were putting together the Messenger 223, they had the 123 and the 323, and those were all solid state coming out. So the one and only tube radio that Sears had was the Messenger 223, rebranded under their Sears number with 745 or whatever it was. But that was a E.F. Johnson 223, and they were in. You find online, look in a Sears Roebuck catalog in 1969, 70, 71, you will see their tube radio at that time. But they may have had some other stuff, but that was it. Everything after that, they were probably, Sears never made anything, obviously, so they used E.F. Johnson with the tube radio, and I don't know if it was a Uniden box chassis for the Sears Road Talkers or what it was, but those were the 23 channels that they were blowing out.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you're going to cause me to go look. What was the web page? I don't even know. I'm sure if you Googled oldsearscatalog.com or something like that, you can actually go and digitally flip through those catalogs and probably see that radio. Okay, before I get out of here, how feasible, I've talked about this for years now, how feasible is it for me to make a directional 11-meter antenna for backpacking? Is that possible?
It's possible. I'm not sure how probable it would be, because let's say you're backpacking. So you've got two choices. The band is going to be open, and you'll be able to do some DX. That's legal now, by the way. In which case, a vertical, properly mounted vertical would work if it's got some type of a ground plane to it. And even better would be a horizontal dipole, where you're going to need, 18 feet. You're going to have 9 feet this way and 9 feet the other side of your coax. Easy to hang up. And you're going to mount it horizontally, which is easy, because you're not talking local. If you're talking local, unless your local station is going to be horizontally polarized, you definitely need to have, the wire hanging from the tree, your vertical. If you want it to be directional, then you're going to have another vertical in line, and it's either going to be a director or a reflector, and that's going to be a lot more difficult. Or, you can make a horizontal. The spacing doesn't have to be too much, but then you're going to have to suspend it from the tree, and then it's going to be stuck in some direction. And again, it's going to be horizontal, and it's probably not going to make that much difference for a skip. The other thing would be to make some type of a long end-fed long wire, like a beverage. Look up a beverage antenna, but that's got to be multiple wavelengths. So an 11 meter is not bad. It's only going to need to be 100 feet long. Or like a rhombic, which is a V configuration, only going to be hundreds of feet long. And now you're directional way in that, one direction. So you might be able to point it somewhere. But then again, you're now horizontal. So it ain't going to work for the local guys that are vertical, but it might help, like, I want to talk to my buddy in Kansas. Let's make it go east. And then you have to hope that the band is open to Kansas. So, it's a lot of work for maybe.
That just doesn't sound that appealing. Well, I'll cut to the chase. It's this time of year when contest and festival season is over, and I barely survived it. I start fantasizing about using a tube radio on out whatever in McGee Lookout or
Furion. Good idea. Let me talk about that.
I'm almost thinking maybe more rock with a vertical antenna. There's nothing out there. That little walkway, you're not going to do anything horizontal. It's going to be drooping off the rock. And to be quite honest, I think I'm lucky I escaped with my life last time with that horrible storm rolling in. I still have just delightful memories of that. I don't even think I might have told you all the stories about that. People running, people that I had, foreigners I had ready to check in, that gave up and went running away because the storms were so bad. But I don't know. I tried to check in on the 217, but I don't think you could hear me. I'm almost thinking maybe some help, just a radio or a regular radio and a small vertical antenna with maybe some additional help might be my best option.
I will hear you on the 217 if you were at that spot on Morrow Rock that's near the top and there is no skip. If it's during the day and we've got a noise level, it isn't going to happen. And Furion, thanks. Here's another one. You can make a rotatable dipole or a rotatable quad that's going to have some directivity and rejection, and you can feed it at a certain point that it will be vertically polarized. But then again, we're working with a quad that's going to be, or a delta loop type of thing. So let's say the quad is square. So if it's a full wave, then you're going to have to balance it to you've got a 4-to-1 match. But so it's going to be 9 by 9 by 9. So you're going to have your screwable PVC pipe. And now you're at 4.5 by 4.5 by 4.5 by 4.5. So you're going to be carrying all these pipes. And when you get it there, you're going to have to assemble it and make sure the corners are in. Then you're going to have to run the wire around it. And then you're going to have the feed coming off of it. You're going to have to make sure it's if it's 400 ohms, it's 4-to-1 down on there. So think about that little rotatable quad, and it's 9 feet. So you're going to have some way of mounting that against the railing, so you can zip tie it, so you can turn the loop to kind of, you take a transmission, I think I hear, so it's not going to be super directional, but it'll null things out. Or you can make a dual quad. Now you've got two of those that you have to assemble that are 9 feet. You could load it. You can make a loaded thing. Now you got to wrap the wire like your mobile antenna. You can load it and make it that way. Now you become really inefficient, especially if you're using 1 watt radio. You've lost some efficiency with the coil, so it's a chore.
Yeah, can you read my mind right now?
I can read your mind right now. I think it's the I know I could hear the 217, but it's going to have to be no skip, and you're going to have to be in that little magic spot near the top, off to the side where you're looking over the. I mean, I've talked a half a watt on 2 meters back into Fresno. Of course, we're FM, we're a little bit different frequency, but same thing. You're just your line of sight perfect.
I just maybe it's just my personality. I'm sorry, I can't get up there and assemble that size of antenna. People look at you, and I don't care what people think generally in life. I'm quite comfortable with myself and my desires, but that having been said, yeah, you get looks. Even on Christmas Tree Lane, when you extend the TRC 217 antenna, I think I made a comment on air one time that someone pulled over and said, "Hey, are you talking to Mars on that antenna or Jupiter, something?" I'm not sure if I care to receive that type of comment anymore.
Just tell me you had the Mars mod.
Yeah, the real Mars mod. And they'll let you know. It's like, hey, dude, they have newer phones. You don't have to have that old style thing. All right, I got to jump out of the air chair. The stream is still streaming, so good night, everybody that's dropping out. We will catch you. I should be here next week. What's going on next week? Oh, it's Porch Fest. So I'm going to be in the air chair. I should be here on time. I'm going to be late. Probably won't be here till. But I'll make it. I'll should make it. I'll preset everything up, and I'll be in. So I don't know what condition I'll be in, but I will. I'll be here next week. Good night, everybody, and I'll be listening. But I want to turn off the beaconing tube radio stream. Good night.
All right. Good night, and thanks for the conversation. That's delightful. The only other thing I need to deal with, I probably need to get a new HT. And it's always fun hearing about the new things on that. Perhaps even with the Mars mod. But that's a conversation for some other time. All right, 7347.